guys, welcome back to my channel and to another meal plan and meal prep with me. Today I'm going to be spending just over 2 hours meal prepping for the week ahead for our family of 5. And whenever I do this, I feel so organized. It makes our life so much easier just knowing what is for dinner and just being able to shove something in the oven because it's already done. Also, when I get all of the pots and pans out, it means I'm just washing up once. We're also cooking things from scratch today, so it makes it like that bit healthier. And I just love whenever I get the chance to meal prep. So I've got a little bit of childcare today, so I'm going to use it wisely. So in today's video, we're going to be making 3 dinners, 2 breakfasts, snacks, and a lunch as well. So we're going to be making a fish pie, Mexican rice, a slow cooker dump bag, some salad for lunches, banana muffins, and pancakes as well. So I'll be sure to link all of the recipes in the description down below if you want to check them out and remake them. And I will use timestamps in this video, so if you want to fast forward to a different recipe, you can go ahead and do that. But I really hope this video inspires you and that you enjoy it. I also wanted to say a huge thank you to LG for sponsoring today's video. I'm supporting LG's Smart Sustainable Living campaign to help everyone adopt more sustainable, healthy eating habits with the help of their home appliances, like this fridge. So I really wanted to show you this fridge because it has some amazing energy-saving features. I've also never seen a fridge that does this. And you guys could actually win this fridge. So to be in with a chance to win, all you have to do is subscribe to this channel and like and comment on this video, and then we're going to choose someone at random. But I will put all the T's and C's in the description down below. But if you are in need of a fridge yourself, or you know someone that you would want to gift it to, it might be worth entering this competition because it is really cool. So it's called the LG InstaView door-in-door fridge because of that really cool feature that I just showed you. If you knock twice on the front door, then it will light up the glass window and you can see exactly what's inside without even having to open your fridge. And the door actually opens 2 ways. It's got this really handy small door on the front, which means that you can open it and access things like your favorite drinks, ketchup, milk, things that you use all of the time. And by having that little door there, it means that you don't have to open up the entire fridge all the time, which means that less cold air escapes, which keeps your food fresher, and it also saves energy. It also has a water and ice dispenser, which we've never had before. And the cool thing about this one is that you don't actually need a water connection for it. There's a 4-liter water tank, which filters the water inside the fridge, so it can be installed anywhere in your kitchen. And the water filter does not ever need replacing, so it's really simple to manage. And it's just been great for the kids. They just go up to the fridge and get their own drinks. It's also great if you do meal prep because it keeps your food fresher for longer. There's a moist balance crisper drawer inside it, which keeps moisture at the optimum level to keep fruits fresh and vegetables crisper for longer. And you can even do things like change the temperature of your freezer on the front of the fridge. So as you can see, it's pretty cool, and I'll put some links in the description if you want to find out more about the fridge. But with all that said, let's get into our meal prep. Okay, so first off, I'm going to show you how to make Mexican dirty rice. We've been making this recipe for years, and I think originally it was from HelloFresh, but I will link it down below. This is everything that goes into it, which looks like a lot, but it's actually really simple. You basically just cook everything, stick it all together. So first off, I'm putting some brown rice on for about 25 minutes in boiling water. And then while that's on, I'm just going to marinate the chicken. So I'm just adding in a little bit of olive oil, some salt and pepper, and then also some paprika as well. I'm going to mix that all together and let that marinate while I cook up the onions and also the chorizo. So I'm going to cook that in the frying pan for about 5 minutes until the onions are nice and soft, and the chorizo in this dish makes it so salty and delicious. So while that's in the pan, I'm going to zest a lime and then also juice it as well. And then into the lime juice, I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil and some salt and pepper. And then this is going to be like a bit of a dressing that you add to this rice dish at the end. Then once the onion and chorizo is all soft, I'm going to take it off the heat and put it into a big bowl, and then use the same frying pan for the chicken that has been marinating. I'm going to fry the chicken in the pan for about 5 to 8 minutes until it's completely cooked all the way through. But as you can see, I've cut it up into chunks, so it doesn't take very long. So once that's all cooked, I'm going to add that into the same bowl, and then I'm pretty much just going to add all the ingredients and mix it all together. So it's like this dirty rice dish. So I'm adding in now some chopped up cherry tomatoes, a can of black beans which has been rinsed, some chopped up coriander, that dressing with the lime and olive oil that I showed you, and also of course the brown rice once it's all cooked. Just gonna give that all a mix, and that is literally it. We have this sometimes for lunch, as I said. This is also a great dinner. The kids really like it as well. And it's also really good if you're having friends over or you're having like a bit of a barbecue. This could be like on your buffet as like another option, and it goes down really well. I've had so many people ask me for this recipe. So I'm going to store it in some glass Tupperware like this. And as I said, we might get a couple of lunches out of this and one dinner as well. And then I'm going to store it in the fridge. Next up, I wanted to show you how to make a slow cooker dump bag for beef stew. I love making these or having a couple in my freezer because they're so handy. You can take this out of the freezer the night before you want to use it, let it thaw overnight, and then in the morning, stick it into your slow cooker, and then you have a delicious, like hearty meal for dinner. So if I was really organized, I would make loads of these freezer bags or dump bags in one go, but today I'm just making one for this week. But I love this recipe. I've made it quite a few times before. So first off, I'm just prepping some of the veg. So in this, I'm putting some green beans, which I've literally just trimmed and cut in half. I'm also going to finely chop an onion in my little onion chopper. I love this thing. You just chuck in chunks and it comes out really finely chopped. And then you basically throw all the other ingredients into a bag. So you can put this into a bag or into Tupperware, whatever you have. And I tend to put the bag into a bowl to make it easier for myself. But first off, I'm adding in 2 pounds of stewing beef, the green beans, the carrots, the sweet corn, then the onions and some Worcestershire sauce. And then also I'm crumbling in 2 little beef stock cubes. And then I also add in half a cup of apple juice and some garlic as well. So you don't have to put the apple juice in at this stage. You could add it in when you put it into the slow cooker, but I tend to add the apple juice now, but then also add water when I'm actually cooking it. And to remind myself, I'll just write a little label that says beef stew, add 1.5 cups of water and cook on low for 8 to 10 hours so that when I do pull it out the freezer, I just know how long to cook it for. Next up, I'm making a fish pie for this week, and I love this recipe because I find it very easy to make. It's a Jamie Oliver one, so I'll link it down below, but you pretty much just make mash as you normally would and then chuck a load of ingredients into a pan and then put it all together. So I really like this recipe, and you've probably noticed I'm making all of the dinners first. I feel like having dinners on hand and ready to go makes my life so easy. So if I'm meal prepping, I'll do that first. So if it takes longer or I get sidetracked or I have to pick up someone from somewhere, then at least we've got dinners. But first off, I'm just peeling and cutting up some potatoes, and then I'm going to put that in boiling water for about 20 minutes. Then I'm just going to get my pan, which says fish pie on it for exactly this. And then you basically just grate ingredients straight into it. So first off, I'm just grating a whole carrot into the pan. And then I'm also going to grate in 2 stalks of celery and some cheese as well. And every time I make this recipe, I remember it's actually quite difficult to grate celery, but it is also a good way to hide veggies from your kids if you want to. But if it's easier to just chop it up, go ahead and do that. And then, as I said, I'm going to grate the cheese straight into the pan. Then I'm also going to zest a lemon into the pan, and then you can also add chili. Obviously, if this is for kids, you can leave this out, or if they like a bit of spice, like it's up to you. I think it called for fresh chili, but I'm just adding in a little bit of the chili flakes that we have. And then I'm also going to chop up some parsley and chuck that in as well. And then what you can do is order all the fish separately and cut it up. But what I do is just order a fish pie mix and chuck that in. Then I'm also going to add in 2 large ripe tomatoes, like all chopped, with some salt and pepper. And then you can also add spinach in if you want to. Obviously that's optional, and I actually do cut it up so that it literally goes down to nothing, so it's like more difficult to find if kids are having it. Then I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil and a whole lemon. So I'm just going to squeeze that straight in, again, all into the pan, and then give that a good mix with my hands. And then that's literally it. Then you just top it off with the potato. And then what I do is like put some blobs all over the pie, squish it down, and then rough it up with a fork, because I find when you do it that way, it cooks really lovely, like it gets a bit brown on top. And then you actually serve this pie with baked beans or with ketchup. It actually calls for that in the recipe, and it's really delicious. So you can either freeze this or just stick it into the fridge, which is what I'm going to do, because I know we're going to have this in like a couple of nights time. But this does freeze well, and then you can take it out and stick it straight into the oven. So that's it. That's done. And I'm just going to put it into our fridge. And next up, I'm going to prepare some fruit and veg so we can have this on hand in the fridge, ready to go for snacks or on the side of dinner or for breakfast or for so many different reasons. I feel like this saves us so much time in the week. Although this only takes me about 10-15 minutes, it saves us so much time, because every time you're getting fruit out and washing it or cutting it, whereas if it's all ready to go, you can just grab it. And I feel like it helps me and the kids make good choices. And honestly, having the 3 kids, like, it's crazy how much food we go through. They are so hungry. Obviously, they're growing boys, and I just feel like I cannot give them enough snacks. So it's nice to have like healthy ones ready to go. So I recently got this little strainer that goes across the sink, so it makes it easy to wash fruit. And I've talked about it before, but whenever I wash strawberries and blueberries or raspberries, I tend to put it into a bowl of water for a good 5 minutes, because I find that gets it really clean. They're one of the dirty dozen strawberries, so it's good to have like a really thorough clean. So while that is sat in the water and the grapes are straining as well, I'm going to chop up some veg. So I'm just going to chop up some cucumber, some red pepper, and some carrots as well. You can see there that they're already done. And this is really handy because the boys really like raw vegetables. They'll eat this with hummus. I can stick it into their school bag as a snack, but they also like raw food, like raw veggies on the side at dinner as well. I find like they just eat it really well. So I'm cutting up a couple of peppers, and then I'm going to store it all into some glass Tupperware. And I also recently got some new containers for when I meal prep to store the fruit and veg. So in this one, I'm going to put a layer of purple grapes on the bottom, and I am actually going to take it all off of the vine, so it makes it even quicker and easier when the kids do want a snack. And then I'm going to put a layer of green grapes on the top. And as I mentioned, the LG InstaView fridge has drawers for fruit and veg that keeps it at the optimum moisture to keep them fresher for longer. So I'm going to store all of these in there. And then I'm also going to cut up a cantaloupe and have that on hand. Spotted this the other day when I was out at the shops, and I thought, haven't had that for ages, and I think the kids will really like it. And then finally, for this snack part of the video, I'm just going to rinse the strawberries and blueberries really well in this strainer, and then store it away in some Tupperware. Ta-da! That is all prepped and ready to go for this week. So I'm going to put that into the fridge, and then we can have it all on hand. And then next up, I'm going to make something that I'm sure you guys have made in the past. It's so super simple. I'm going to make Rice Krispie treats for the kids. So it's literally 3 ingredients. So easy, but this will be great for desserts this week. I might also put it into their lunch bags because the kids are still at school. They still have another week of school. I feel like they're the last school going. But all you do is melt 3 tablespoons of butter, then a bunch of marshmallows. I like to use the mini ones if I can because they melt down so quickly. I think it's about 10 ounces of marshmallows, and then you add in about 6 cups of Rice Krispies. mix it all up as quick as you can, because it does start to harden like quite quickly as soon as it gets a bit cooler off of the heat. And then you just put that into a tray. And then what I do is, when I actually push it all down into the tray, I'll use a little bit of like coconut oil to spray into it. And then I'll also use a little bit of grease paper when I'm pushing it all down with a spoon. You can like butter a spoon and that works as well, but I find that this works like really well so that it doesn't get really sticky, because the marshmallows are very sticky. So that's it. Once you've pushed it down, I'm just going to cover it and put it into the fridge. And then once it's had a chance to cool down, then I'll take it out, cut it up into squares, and then the kids can have this, as I said, as a treat or as a snack. It's not like too unhealthy, although the marshmallows have a load of sugar, but it's just a nice treat to have on hand and so easy to make. Obviously, there's no baking at all. It literally takes minutes. Next up, I'm going to meal prep some vegan pancakes. These are Matt's favorite, and I love meal prepping pancakes because they do so well in the fridge or freezer. You can take them out when you want them, stick them into the toaster, and you have a delicious breakfast. So all I'm going to do is put it all into a blender. I'm putting in 300 ml of oat milk. The recipe actually calls for 2 bananas, but we actually do it with 1. And then I'm also going to add in about 90 grams of spelt flour, but you can use other flours as well. And then I'm also going to add in about 80 grams of flax seeds, and then a little bit of baking powder, about 2 teaspoons, just to help to like fluff it up. You can also add in a little bit of vanilla extract if you want to, and then you just blend it and then fry it like a pancake. So I'm doing about 2 tablespoons as each pancake. Just going to watch it on the heat and then flip it, and then I'm going to store it into my little storage bags, which are really handy. They're reusable ones. And then, as I said, you can either put these into the fridge or into the freezer, and then we serve it with some maple syrup. You can also serve it with yogurt or some berries on the side as well. And I'm also going to show you another breakfast or snack or treat, and I'm going to make some banana and chocolate chip muffins. I love to meal prep muffins because although I'm not much of a baker, I feel like with muffins you can just chuck everything into a bowl and it pretty much turns out okay. The kids like them. I really like them as well. So this recipe is really simple. You just have to mash up 3 large bananas, the riper the better, and then put that into a bowl with 1 egg that you beat up, and then also about 1/3 cup of melted butter. And then this recipe does actually call to like sift all of the dry ingredients, but I actually never do. So I'm just going to chuck in 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour, some sugar. I think it's about, how much sugar? About 3/4 cup caster sugar. Then some baking powder, about 1 teaspoon, and then also some baking soda as well, and a tiny bit of salt. Then you kind of fold the wet and the dry ingredients together, and then I'm adding in some chocolate chips. Obviously you don't have to, but I just find that the kids really like it and pass off as a treat because there's a few chocolate chips in them. So now I'm just going to line my muffin tin with cases, and then I love to use an ice cream scoop to get the muffin mixture out. It's always like the perfect amount, and it comes out really easily. Then I'm going to stick these into the oven for about 20 to 25 minutes or until a fork comes out clean. And I actually put so much in, I only had 10. But yeah, that's it. Then we can have these on hand. I made these a couple of days ago and they're already all gone because that is about 2 per person, so they don't last very long, but they're great like on the go breakfast or treat or snack, as I said. So yeah, that's it, and I'll link the recipe down below. And finally, I'm also going to meal prep some salads so that I can have this during the week with maybe some leftovers or some tuna, something like that. And we can also have this as a side salad at dinner. So I'm just going to chop up what I have in the fridge. So I'm going to chop up a pepper. I also have some olive olives, but whatever you like to have in a salad. Maybe it's tomatoes, maybe it's cucumbers, etc. You can just chop that up, obviously, for a salad meal prep. And I find that the secret to keeping your salad fresh is to keep the lettuce separate to ingredients like this, like the tomatoes, etc. So I'm putting it into one of my little storage containers, and obviously the fridge will really help because I'm going to store this in the moist crisper drawer so that it will keep it fresher for longer. I'm also cutting up some tomatoes that we had as well. But I asked you guys on my Instagram account, what was the main, like, number one food that you find that you waste or end up throwing out? And the number one was salad. So this is how I keep it nice and fresh. I would love to know any tips that you have in the comments below as well. So I'm keeping all the lettuce separate to everything else, obviously storing it in this, and then I'm going to put it into my crisper drawer. And it did last, like, it has lasted for a good few days already. And as I said, I might serve this with like a bit of leftover chicken, a bit of that Mexican rice on the side, or tuna, or whatever we have in the fridge. And it was really, really delicious. I just add dressing when I actually eat it. So yeah, that is it. Right guys, that is it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and don't forget to enter the competition to win the LG InstaView fridge, and I will see you in my next one. Bye guys.